Hey everybody, CyberKnife here, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the new Stronghold mode that came out in 9.2. It's going to be expanded a little bit in 9.3 and later, I'm hearing. Right now, this is what it looks like. You've had a new tab added onto the top of your toolbar. Next to Barracks, there's a Stronghold button. When you click on it, this is what you'll see. Well, maybe not what you'll see, but what you will see if you're in a clan and your commander has opened up an area. There'll be several work sites like this where you can open up buildings. Then everybody in your clan goes into Stronghold and fights in skirmish mode. That earns you material resources, and when a person, say like myself, clicks on a command center, and then I go in and garrison myself and place myself into that one. I'm actually not in this one. I think I'm in our transportation unit, maybe. Yeah, I'm in the transportation unit. So anyway, and this just kind of gives an idea of this week how many resource units that industrial resources that I earned, and everybody else, and my total. If you want to see the grand totals, they're over here, and your clan commander can apply those resources to get you different bonuses and whatnot once the different buildings are built. They have to do with, for the whole clan, he can initiate use the building and the resources to give extra experience, things like that, different little buffs. They're not forever, of course. They have a limited time, but anyway, when you fight in skirmish mode, it doesn't affect your overall win rate. You basically just go in there and have a little fun. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show a series of stronghold skirmishes that my clan had. Some good. I'm going to show the good and the bad, and we had quite a bit of good and maybe just a couple of bad, but we're kind of getting geared up. This is a really great training for clan wars and company battles, by the way. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into that and just show a series of real quick skirmishes. And they're really not that much different than team battles and company battles, except you're fighting for resources and your win rate's not on the line. So let's get to it. Alright, jumping right into it. Here's our first battle on Skirmish, and generally what you'll find in company, team, or skirmish battles, often even in clan wars, your team is a little bit smaller than you would have normally, than 15 people. In this case, you can see that I'm off alone here on South Coast, but generally what you do in these type of situations is you want to have one main attack group, maybe two. It depends on the map and what you're trying to accomplish. It depends on the composition of your tanks and your different ability levels. Generally, what I am trying to do here is just be back and defend base in case a group breaks off from their main group and comes back up here. They would have a hard time getting back here to uncap if, say, 3 enemy tanks were just to quickly jump into our cap. So far, I really have no use in this game except just to give Overwatch a little bit. I'm not going to have any shots here, and basically what I'm going to do is just be up here just in case somebody comes up the back road. Now, as you can see here, I am going to keep checking and popping binocs. Yep, binocs and a KV-1S. You have to do what you need to do for these clan wars. Now, I've been playing this on double speed, but basically I'm not seeing anything, and we're missing 3 tanks, and I'm starting to suspect that they made a beach run out of my vision. And so I just informed the commander that I'm going to be going back and checking beach, and sure enough, I find a Type 64.
The rangefinder took a hit. We can only shoot close targets.
Now, normally I wouldn't chase him around like this, because I know he's got friends coming up behind him, but I really need to get rid of this guy immediately. And it's not the easiest thing to do with a dead driver.
Gotcha.
Sure enough, here's his friends. His backup shows up a little late. The only reason I chased him in circles like that, kind of showed my ass to where the Jagdpanther would be, is because I kind of saw that he was a noob a little bit and figured he'd be a little too far out ahead of his support. And I was correct. Now basically, I've done my job. All I need to do here is buy a little bit of time for my Hellcats to get back here and give me a hand. I know I'm probably not going to survive this. I really think I'm going to take out this Jagdpanther 4, but I don't, because I did the right thing face-hugging him. I think I was just trying to turn around. I didn't realize I gave that Wolverine just a little bit too much side and ass right there, and he was able to fire a good shot there. So we're going to kick this into high gear. This is fairly typical of how a clan war / company battle team game will go. And so that's how that went down. So there, number one, not too bad. Everybody's happy. We did a good job. Basically, we broke off into the faster tanks, went and took a flank. I stayed back in my slower tank, and as expected, they did send a small force, which I was able to hold up, and that's basically how you run the strategy. It's a lot different than playing in pubs. You need to move as a unit. You don't need to so much hide yourself. You don't want to hide and not take shots. Sometimes you just have to suicide and just accept that, you know, you're going to be put in the back and you're not going to see a lot of action. Maybe you will, but it's a group effort. It's a team effort. It's not an individual effort, and sometimes you don't get any points. Sometimes you're asked to, you know, essentially commit suicide for the win, and that's what you have to do in these type of games. If you want to be successful, you need to shift out of the normal, you know, pubby mode. So anyway, let's go check out another one. Now here we go. This is a little bit different situation. Wider open, and we're up against some pretty decent competition, I'm going to say. And this one, I have not pre-watched this. I kind of like to watch it with you guys. I remember it was yesterday, but I'm not exactly clear about what happened here. I do remember I wasn't happy with this game. At least my performance. Now I think what I'm going to do, I'm being asked to stay in this area around G1, or I believe Tor wanted me on the reverse slope of this hill along with Derry. See where Derry is over here? And he's on a downside slope there, and he's going to end up down the hill over here. And what I was thinking was I was going to support him. I didn't really want to go downside hill. I was thinking I would go in this little nook right here where I could, you know, like fall back. But Tor was really worried that by me being here, he didn't really understand that I had, you know, some safety here. And I think he was afraid that sitting here just on top, I would get killed. But what my plan was to pop binoculars and look over here onto this hill, because I had a feeling they're going to send people up onto the top here into that area. I'm indicating I'm looking in that way because that's where I'm concerned about. And I thought maybe they would come down and get to our base or whatever. But, you know, I'm thinking, you know, and if anything bad happens, I spot them, I could just back down this little... You can see where I'm looking. And my plan was to back down that ledge to safety and then join Derry over there. But you can't really explain that, you know what I mean? The commander wants you to move your ass over, so you move your ass over. So I just say, all right, I'm not going to argue with you, and I go over. But I did see what he was saying. I mean, Derry was stuck over here and needed support. So I moved down to where more an appropriate position. He wants me to be over here because I think a lot of the concern Tor was looking at was going to be over the bridge here. And he was right. There was a ton of contact down here. But not having eyes on this over here, you can see I'm still trying to poke up there, but without binocs it ain't going to happen. And my concern was correct as well, but it really kind of did take a backseat to the overall problem we had of not being able to effectively get firepower across this hill. They set up pretty much a defensive line here, and then our guys, see Aztec and Tor, are having to cross a kill zone there to pretty much get through that, and they've got a whole bunch of crap on the back reverse slope of this hill. So I'm coming over here. I really want to help support Derry. I see a tree fall over in this area, so I know we're about to make contact in city as well. And now I'm also just waiting for somebody to show up behind me and shoot me in the ass. But see, I'm even looking behind myself. I'm still thinking about this, and sure enough, there he goes. Cromwell hits me in the ass. So now I'm feeling like, oh boy, here we go. And so I'm leaving Derry alone. He's really, he can't support me. He's got to help these guys. The main effort is over here, not with me. But I'm just literally getting my ass kicked from guys that are up behind us. There's a whole bunch of shit that's now over here and over here. And I'm getting wailed on from these guys over here. I don't know whether to shit or go sailing right now, man. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. So basically, my game is going to hell, that's for sure. And once I'm out of here, it's not going to help our guys at all, because they're going to have all this coming up their ass, just like I am. I'm going to turn that. I'm actually going to turn that commander voice down a little bit. It's a little bit loud. So anyway, that's how I got schwacked. And basically now what we got going on is we got this ridge battle going on, and Derry and Aztec are kind of struggling to get flanking fire across. And these guys are struggling to have, because see, to take shots now, they have to roll up top and expose themselves. So that's where that's happening. You know, and it's just sometimes it happens. It doesn't matter how skilled your team is. You're just going to end up with the enemy ending up just randomly in a position, or maybe not so randomly. Maybe they pick those strong positions. Maybe they play together a lot and they know where they can dig in at. And they had a strong position there. They really did. I'm not sure. I believe we did light them, but almost all these guys are back up in here. And so now basically these guys are flanked over here by that KV-1S that came back around, and it's just a bad situation. I don't know why it's not letting me move over, because I was watching this from Derry's perspective. Basically, they're just getting shot down. You know what's going on. Look where they are. They're in the city right there. He's trapped in a Hellcat, and Derry's trapped on the side of the hill. And when you're covered from an elevated position in the military, that's pretty much the worst place you can be. So that's how that ended. And you know that, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that could have went down, but this could have been very effective if they had not decided to defend and gone that way. If they had sent, say, a big push this way and we'd send a big push this way, our being here would have easily allowed us to come down and reset them. But they were very intelligent and good players. They placed themselves correctly in a position that would block us effectively, and then they were able to seriously flank us, and it was done deal. But we, you know, just because these guys are better than us, you know, that doesn't mean that they can't be beat. You'd be just amazed how much randomness that goes into this. If they decide to push a big force one way and you push a force the other way and you just play ring around the rosy, it's just sometimes it ends up in just a straight up, you know, see who can run to the cap first battle. So these things are interesting to me. Let's jump into the next one. So yeah, after that game we had pretty much a collective team psychological meltdown. Lost another game that we really should have won on Redshire. And then we got this game in Kharkov, which actually was a very enjoyable game, I thought. Really interesting battle, and we had a worthy team against us for sure. Good old Roxy. Foxy Roxy. They're going to give us a fight. So again, I'm going to be tasked to hang in the back with the big boys. Do a little base defense just for a minute. And I'm thinking maybe they'd, you know, come on down this little road here, but we'll see. I'm pretty much focusing ahead, and just when you start to focus ahead, well, then there's that AMX. So I don't want my box tank getting circle strafed or anything. Now he set him on fire, had him down to 5, but we had to get rid of him. So what I did was I was going to come either here and push him out into his fire or whatever, donk a shot. I'm sure this guy was reloading. And my buddy takes him out there. He's down to 6 hit points too. Not that much HP left, so I'm glad I came back there to distract him. We could have lost a tank there. Now, I see this KV-2 and KV-1S, and that's my job. I handle that. So we'll go into first person. That was a bit of a misplay there. I should have hit that KV-1S instead, but I just saw ass, and I wanted to I don't know. I love putting a shell up that, you know, rear armor. A lot of times you set a nice fire, but that was a misplay. So I put a good one into the KV-2, and I'm hoping to get him to miss, but he doesn't. I'm gonna make him pay for it. So that wasn't too bad. No damage for that. Got a pretty decent Hellcat coming in on me, and he made a misplay there by not just coming in. He had a free shot, but for some reason, this Hellcat with a lot of games did not, my reload timer hadn't seen me fire. A little bit of a Mexican standoff here with this KV-1S. We are fairly equal in health. And we're just sitting here looking at each other, and I see that I'm about to have another kind of problem. And then goofball pulls out in front of me, thinking just because the Hellcat comes, I'm going to let him live. But the Hellcat does his job. I can't get out the shot or bounce it quickly enough. I did turn to face him, but, you know, I'm glad there I was able to take out the KV-2 and the KV-1S, which is pretty much my job. So after this, we go to C-Tor. He's in a little bit of a Hellcat on Hellcat battle. Good play there. He knows the guy's aiming in on him, and he's not going to pull out and just give it up. Now the guy starts to back off. Tor starts to pull up. And that is how it's done. A lot of people will just keep pulling out, just keep pulling out, just keep taking that damage because they want to give some damage, and you just never, trading damage is stupid. I mean, sometimes, you know, at the end of the game, whatever, but I don't know. I mean, I'm one of the worst people to talk about that because I'm sure my damage ratio is subpar, but I'm working on it, you know. At least I'm smart enough to know I shouldn't do it, you know what I'm saying? Do as I say, not as I do, kind of thing. So that's how that went down. Not too bad. Kharkov always an interesting and dynamic map. Enjoy it, and that was exactly the kind of game plan Kharkov I like. So after this, our collective Juju and Mojo was back on track, and which led us into this. So here, that led us right into one of my favorite maps, Live Oaks. Now the plan on this map was no plan. Did a little thing here where we decided just to see how it would go if everybody just didn't communicate, didn't talk, just kind of figured out your own little plan. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Who's going where? Just based on, you know, different techniques we'd been using. Just seeing if everybody could get on task and kind of clear the channels of unnecessary communication and just kind of focus in on what's going on in front of them instead of just kind of, you know, there was sometimes when you get a group of guys together, after a while you get to be having a good time and you can get a little bit distracted. So a little bit of a different technique here. There was zero communication from this point on. I mean, nobody, I think that 12T said he was going to go one way and that was pretty much it. No, hey, take a shot at this guy, I need a little help, let's go this way, nothing, not one word. So let's see how that worked out. Looks like they're all going mid. Donk a shot there. Donk another one. Looks like we're gonna have to get a little closer, right? My strong gunner didn't get enough vodka. Now I pull back, get out of my buddy's way so he can take the shot. You always got to be conscious of where your friends are shooting from. I wanted to get a little ramage in there, but I wasn't reloaded, so of course I had to pull back. And so that was that. Zero communication. We're back in our kind of in our own zones here, and that led directly into this. Everybody, just a little bit of what is it, String Coast? Yeah, they always. Why do they name it differently than the stupid file name? What do they call us in the file? Canada or some shit? Yeah, because you know the Great Battle of Canada and whatnot. Okay, basically this is going to be short. I am going to kick this into high gear. And for you heathens, the music is Jean Leclerc from the 16th century. He was a courtier in the court of Louis the Sun King. And one of the best concerto violinists of all time. As if you give a shit. Okay, I'm going to put this into 2-speed because it's way funnier watching it like that. I mean, look at the flow. This is what it's about. It's not about my individual view. You're almost better to watch it from the... See how we move as an organic unit? This is not individual play. This is just like a... This is just a multi-tentacled octopus enveloping and destroying. Okay, now watch this. Cromwell. This... I laughed my ass off. Watch this shot. He actually goes airborne and I hit him mid-air. I shit you not. Bounce and... Boom! Ooh, airborne. And just when I was finishing laughing at that, someone did it to me. So I ducked that 1S and reload, and I come around the corner and a previously unseen VK-3001 appeared in its wild habitat and proceeded to derp the shit out of me. Nice little tank, those 3001 H's. Way underrated, you know, if you know how to use them. And this guy doesn't really, which I hate to say because he killed my ass. Look at Scotty here. Scotty Doo with a little assist right there. Nice shot. I should have showed that whole thing. He really had a nice little battle juking that Yag 4 right there. It was pretty cool. So these, you know, you're getting the picture of how these work, whatever. So I think I'm just going to show you one particularly kind of one I liked and then wrap it up. So this was a very close one. This is only going to take about 3 seconds to show you. It only took about 1 minute to play. This is what I was talking about missing each other. Almost pulled this one out. I really thought we could have won this one. Very close. They played well with closely matched teams. Switch in place. Now, what I did in this to make a mistake, if I had to do this over again, I would keep an eye more on this area here just to verify if they were going to be coming around this way. So as you can see what happens here, 2 on cap, I immediately go for it. So does everybody else. 12 seconds out, I take a shot there from the MT. The main cap holder is this KV-1S, and he has shielded himself behind a truck wisely. And as I pull up, I'm blasted and tracked. A Hellcat, 5, 4, 3, fired. I hit him right on the top plate. And that is how that one went down. Tor couldn't get a shot on, well, he did get a shot, but not on the guys that were holding cap. It was basically the KV, the Hellcat, and that KV-1S. No, actually, I believe it was the KV-1S that's hidden Deathstalker there and the second. Well, anyway, they outran us, and my shot didn't land. I believe if I would have hit that KV-1S, I could have dropped it by a third, and we would have been able to get 3 uncontested people in the cap. Every one of their players is on this side and accounted for, so either uncapping by myself or Tor would have won this game. But, you know, that's how it goes down. So I do want to end on a good one, so I'm going to show you one more quick one. Alright, and we are going to end this with the sounds of Finnish composer Jan Sibelius, one of my favorite modern composers. Not that you give a shit, but this is an interesting little battle. Actually, he composed most of these, having fought Russians in World War II himself, having most of his homeland destroyed. He was from the Patapsco region of Finland that was really rich in nickel and all that, and the Soviets wanted it for the raw war materials, and they've been fighting over it for pretty much ever since steel was invented. So they've tried to do a little powwow on the cap, which almost never works, I find, but if you do it just right and shield the tanks in the back, you can pull it off. 10 seconds, starting to look like they might. So we're going to kill some Russian tanks to the sounds of Jan Sibelius. Not playing that brilliantly, I'm just trying to give these boys something to shoot at a little bit, maybe uncap them a little. Hopefully my Hellcats can work around there with Tor and the rest of them well. Got a little uncap there. Set him on fire, but he hit a manual extinguisher in time to save himself, but not from the second shot. I pulled out one too many times in front of that guy. That's alright, because by this time it was already over, and I'd done my job, so that's how we're going to end it. But anyway, so that's skirmish battles, which is not that different from team or company, except for the composition levels. This is tier 6, there's also 8. You have to have a few more players to play tier 8, and we have a little bit harder player on some days getting people to, you know, enough people together for the higher tiers. But everybody seems to have a 6, and yeah, it's good stuff. Interesting. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, like it, comment. Let me know. What do you think? Do you like it with music or without? I've done both types of commentary on this track. If you think it gets in the way and it's annoying or whatever, let me know. I'd like to say thanks to Dark for some sound canceling software that's made this a little bit more palatable to your ears. And anyway, have a good one. Semper Fi.